Hello, everybody. Good evening from wherever you're joining. Welcome to this Microsoft AI Skills Fest event. I'm really happy and excited to have you here. So just give a little bit of a shout out in the chat. We have Sarah moderating the chat for us this afternoon. So say hi to me, say I'm Krista Santos, and say hi to Sarah, who is in the chat. And she's going to be saying hello to everybody right now. Before we get started, just wanted to give a little bit of an introduction about myself. My name is Krista Santos. I'm a Microsoft technical trainer, and I'm going to be helping you today to design your dream destination with Microsoft Copilot. So are we ready to get into that? I have been working in Microsoft for the last 6 years, the last 3 years as a Microsoft technical trainer. So I'm really excited to be having you all on this YouTube live this afternoon. All right. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to be focusing on designing a dream destination with Microsoft AI. And if you have not already started registered for the course, I'm just going to give you the link here. So if you have not already, so don't forget to register. The link is ak.msai Skills Fest. Sarah will put the link in the chat as well for you if you haven't, because if you want to earn the badge, you do need to sign up for this badge on this link. So Sarah is going to put the link in the chat momentarily. And don't forget to do that. Don't forget to earn your badge later, right? And then we will have another link at the end of this session where you will be able to confirm that you have attended the session so that you can receive your badge, and then you're good to go. You've attended a Microsoft AI Skills Fest event. Okay. We will also be working with Copilot, so please have ready a Copilot, a browser, whichever browser you prefer working with. So whichever browser you want to work with is fine with us. And we are going to be going to this Copilot link, which also Sarah will put the link later. And when we get into the first unit, we're going to be looking at Copilot. All right. And if you have any questions or if you want to share any thoughts, feel free to put it in the chat. Sarah's going to take a look at that, and I will also be momentarily looking at the chat whenever I can. All right. So let's get into this. So before we get into actually doing any demos and looking at Microsoft Copilot, what is generative AI, right? Because Copilot is based on generative AI. So generative AI is actually a branch of artificial intelligence. We have a lot of different types of artificial intelligence. We have artificial intelligence that helps us look at images and detect if there is a defect or a pattern in that image. For example, we have artificial intelligence that just looks at processing natural language data to basically do some logical processes on language data. We have artificial intelligence that helps us predict in the future if we're going to have more sales or less sales, depending on the pattern that we have. So generative AI is one of these artificial intelligence. It's just a branch of artificial intelligence because we have so many different types of artificial intelligence. Generative AI specifically is a type of artificial intelligence that helps us create new content. Unlike traditional artificial intelligence, which might just classify and predict batch data, for example, generative AI produces original content based on inputs such as images, text, music, or more, right? And it's like working with a digital artist, right? You can basically give information to this digital artist, and then this digital artist will learn from examples and then create something new for you. Okay. So what are the different outputs that you can get from our generative AI? We can basically create unique works of art. We can design logos. We can even generate fashion designs. And we can also create some music. We can compose original music pieces or help musicians create some new novel sounds. Also, generative AI can write stories, right? And we've already seen this. We can write stories, we can write poems, we can write haikus, even help you with your homework. And also, it can also design game levels, characters, entire game worlds can be created also with generative AI. But as we say, um, with great power comes great responsibility, right? It's a little Spider-Man quote for you here today. And of course, we do need to use generative AI in a responsible manner. Okay, so using AI responsibly is super important because you do not want technology to bias the experience of a human being, right? So use it in an ethical way, in a responsible way, and do not use AI to create any harmful content or misleading content either. Okay. So in this case, you do need to have some frameworks set into place so that you are also checking your own biases, because an AI is only as good as the person who is actually configuring that AI. So if I have some biases, sometimes those biases might get introduced into my AI. So having some frameworks in place that helps you put some checks and bounds in place is going to be super important for you when you're working with AI. Okay. So all we need to be careful about is making sure we're fair and we're not biased, and also making sure that people's privacy and consent are taken into account whenever you're using their data. Okay. So that's a little bit about an introduction on generative AI, right? Let's take a look at Microsoft Copilot. So what is Microsoft Copilot, right? We asked Microsoft Copilot what it thought Microsoft Copilot is, and this is what it gave us, right? Copilot is like having a versatile assistant ready to help with a wide range of tasks. And some of the things that Copilot can do, it can answer questions about almost anything you can think of. It can help you brainstorm ideas. So if you need an idea for a project or a story or a presentation, it can help you come up with awesome ideas together. And also it can help you write content, whether it's writing an email or creating a document or coding or making poems or stories. It can also help you with that. It can help you organize your tasks. Organization in this day and age is super important because there is so much information overload everywhere and there are so many things to do. So organization becomes crucial to have an effective and organized way of working. And it can help you create to-do lists, for example, and plan your schedule. I've also actually used Copilot to plan my holidays sometimes, give me a nice itinerary with enough time for rest and play, for example. Super, super useful to use Copilot for this. And also, it can also help you research, right? If you're researching for a specific topic, you're studying a specific topic and you want to get into deeper, investigate a little deeper about why something works this way or why something works another way. And in this also, Microsoft Copilot can help you very much. And last but not the least, you can also generate images, right? That's one of the latest functionalities that was added to Copilot, is which it can help you generate images based on a simple text prompt. Okay, so you can just give a very specific description. The more specific, the better, and then it will generate that image for you. Okay, and what about just want to engage in a conversation? You can also do that. You need to brainstorm ideas, or maybe you had a difficult situation and you want to see that situation from a different perspective. You can do that. You can chat about anything, favorite hobbies, you want to get into a new hobby, how to get into a new hobby, what are the new games out there, or just have a friendly conversation as well. You can do that with Microsoft Copilot. Okay. All right. So how does it work? How does Copilot work, right? So Copilot was definitely created based on an LLM. What is an LLM? An LLM is a large language model. An LLM is a model that has been trained on a lot of textual data, but not only textual data. This textual data that it has been trained on had some semantic meanings behind it. So it was able to codify natural language, okay, and give it a meaning in a way that a machine can understand, because machines don't understand text. Machines don't understand hi, hello, how are you, right? So you need to codify those words and give it some semantic meaning. And based on that semantic meaning, you can then train the model. But it also had a lot of human live feedback to help it understand if it was doing well or not. Right, so that's how the large language models were created. But not to forget, also the large language models also came into being once we had this amazing transformer architecture introduced, which helped us encode and decode these semantic meanings in a very efficient way. Okay, so it made things very, very fast, and there you go. We have now large language models, right? So we have some large language models behind Copilot, right? And you can see over here, we have a prompt. We're putting a textual prompt. My mom and I are going to London to visit my cousin. Give me ideas for things to appreciate and do in London. We give this prompt as an input to Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot will then send this input prompt to the large language model, where it has been trained on a lot of textual data. And then it will return a response, which will then be returned to Microsoft Copilot and displayed to you in a very easy to use UI. Okay. So it says, London is a brimming city with history, culture, and excitement. Here are some ideas for things to appreciate and do. Buckingham Palace, tour the staterooms and witness the changing of the guard ceremony. Tower of London, explore the historic castle and appreciate the crown jewels, right? And it goes on and on. So this is how Microsoft Copilot works in the back end, right? So now that we know how Microsoft Copilot works, let's see how to create an effective prompt. Because it's you might think that creating an effective prompt is easy, but in reality, it's not that easy to create a prompt, right? You need to be very, very precise about what you want in your prompt. So let's take a look at that. So guidelines for effective prompts. For example, over here, we have a prompt saying, summarize the article at this location, notpublishers.com /London, as a bulleted list of 3 to 5 interesting facts to help me plan a trip. Keep each bullet concise and simply worded, right? And then it gives you some of the interesting facts, and then you can basically send it another prompt. But what are the rules you can use to create an effective prompt? We have a couple over here. We have 5 prompts available here. So let's take a look at them one by one. So the first one is provide a source to ground the response in a specific scope of information if available. So this is basically if you have any specific additional information that you can give to your prompt, as specific as you can be, you can give that information to your prompt as a ground, right? It's sort of like a base template. Okay, I have this text. I want to from this text, maybe it's a very rough idea of a summary of a trip that I'm going to be doing, for example. And I'm going to arrive in my my first airport, and I'm going to stay a couple of days and go to the next location, things like that. So that is going to be my base ground truth. And then based off of that information, I can then give another prompt saying that, okay, based on what I have given above, I want you to do so and so and so. Okay, so that's the first thing, is to give some ground truth information. Okay, once you have the ground truth information, okay, that's a given. Now you have to give a very specific goal for that information. For example, what you want Copilot to do with that ground truth. Do you want it to help you build a very detailed itinerary for your holiday? You can do that, right? So that's the second step here, stating a very, very specific goal of what you want Copilot to do. The more specific, the better it gets. Okay. And then the second step is adding some context, giving some background information. Now, we have already seen that we can give some background information with the ground truth we spoke about earlier. But in case you do not have anything like a ground truth, you can also add context by maximizing you can also add context in your prompt later. So say you don't have any ground truth information. So you just go to Copilot and you say, oh, help me write a summary for my science project, right? You do not have Copilot at this point doesn't have any background information about what your science project is supposed to be about, what are the types of science projects you can have, how much detail can you go to, how much time you have to build your science project, for example, things like that. So you have to give some additional context to make the response more relevant. For example, my project is about the water cycle, right? So I want you to help me write a summary of my science project, which is about the water cycle, for example, right? So that's adding context. Next, setting clear expectations, right? Specify how you want the response to be formatted. Do you want it to be 3 pages? Do you want it to be in bullet points? Do you want it to be in 3 short paragraphs? What is the format you want it in? Because if you do not share your expectations of your prompt, then of what you want to receive from Copilot, then it's going to give you whatever it wants, right? And you might not be happy with that response. So first of all, state a specific goal. Second of all, add that context. And then third, set clear expectations for your response. How do you want your response to be formatted, right? And that's not the end. Okay, so we have these 3 main rules. The last one is iterate based on previous attempts. So if you see that, okay, the response that you got wasn't exactly what you wanted, you can go back and then go back to step 1, stating a specific goal, make your goal more specific, add some more detail there, add some more context, add some more expectations, and then try again, right? So you're going to iterate and refine your prompt over time. Okay. So that is a couple of guidelines of how to create effective prompts. All right. So once we have done this, now we can get into our program, which we have planned for today, which is designing a dream destination with AI. So today you're going to be working with Copilot, which is going to be your main AI tool, and you'll discover some really amazing things that Copilot can do, and we're going to be doing them together. I'm going to give you some time to do some of these things, and then you can let us know via the chat if you how did you feel about doing some of these exercises, for example, right? So you're going to use your imagination and creativity. So I hope you have brought your imagination and creativity to this class, because we are going to be needing it, right, for this program. Okay, let's do it. So for the first unit, for the first thing, what we're going to do is log into Copilot. Okay, so this is a very simple step. Open up your browser, whichever browser your preferred browser for using in your day-to-day job or day-to-day work, and just go to copilot.microsoft.com. Sarah is going to put the link in the chat right now. So this copilot.microsoft.com. And then it will ask you to sign in with your personal Microsoft account. Okay, so just sign in with any personal account that you have, right? It doesn't need to be a Microsoft account. It can be any personal account. Just make sure it's not a work account, because then it will go to your work Copilot, which is completely different. And for today, we're going to be focusing on the personal Microsoft account, right? If you do not have a Microsoft account, you can also create one by going to account.microsoft.com. Okay, so just go to account.microsoft.com, select the create account button, and then enter your new email address you want to create. Okay, and then create a password. Make sure it's secure and strong. And you'll have to add some details like your name, your country, region, birth date, and then verify your email with another email address. And then complete the captcha, agree to the terms, and you will have a new email address, okay, which you can use for the purpose of this training. All right. So that's step 1, getting started, right? Let me check with Sarah. All right, there's apparently some technical difficulty, but if you can just go to copilot.microsoft.com. And in the meantime, I think Sarah will just refresh her page and try to come back in so that she can send you the other links we have today. All right. So in the meantime, I'll give you 5 minutes to work on this, to get into your Microsoft account. So again, copilot.microsoft.com to access Copilot. Make sure you're signing in with a personal email address, and then account.microsoft.com for creating a new account. All right. I'll try to also see if I can paste some messages into the YouTube chat myself in the meantime. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes here on the clock, and I'm going to just start this countdown. And hopefully, once we're done with the 5 minutes, everybody will have signed in into Copilot. All right, and we're back. I hope everybody could see my messages. I just put the messages with the link. I'm not sure if it went through. I guess it's not going through for me as well. I'm not sure if there's nothing, if the messages are just not working for some reason right now, because I don't see anything from anybody else. Can anybody else try to put a message in the YouTube chat? And let's see if it works. I think we're having some technical issues here. Okay. Anyway, let's continue, and then if you can, maybe. Oh, there you go. We have some messages coming into the chat. Test. We can see messages. We can't see the messages in the chat. No messages. So all of you can put messages, but we can't put messages in the chat right now. Anyway, so I'm just going to show you the link again, so that you can just take a look at it really quickly. This is the link that we are going to go for, copilot.microsoft.com. That's the one we are going to be working with, and make sure that you sign in with your personal account. If you do not have a personal account, you are going to be requiring this link, which is going to help you create a new Microsoft account. All right. Okay, I'm going to give everybody a couple of seconds to just jot down this information, because all right. Yes, thank you for offering your help. If you can put the link in the chat for everybody else, that would be super. All right. Oh, we have somebody who's already gone ahead and already tried to create something with a photo. All right. Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody got these two links down. If somebody wants to share these links because they have used it into the chat, so that other people can just click on it instead of having to type it out completely themselves, feel free to do that. Be hugely helpful for us. And let's go to the next part, which is finally defining the context. Okay, so we're gonna define the idea and set the context. So for this, actually, we have another link, which I am going to be sharing maybe with let's see, which is aka.ms explore AI. So aka.ms explore -AI. That's the. I'm just going to write it on my screen as well right now. aka.ms explore -AI. Okay. So just go to this link, and this will take you to it will take you to a learning path. So let's take a look at that learning path together. I'm going to paste this here. And this is the learning path that we are going to be actually following for this class, right? Or this training. So over here, we have basically just two exercises we're going to be doing today. First one is define your idea and set the context. That's the one we are in right now. We're going to define our idea and set the context. And then the second one is creating that hero image. Okay, so this is unit 2. Exercise, define your idea and set the context, and unit 3 is create the hero image. So I'm going to have this link handy for me, because I'm going to copy and paste some prompts from here as a demonstration to show you how it works. And on the other side, I have Copilot already ready and signed in. So this is what Copilot looks like. I'm at copilot.microsoft.com. I have signed in with a personal email address. You can see over here, it's an Outlook email address. And here is where we can start putting our prompts. So we're going to be using both the learning path, which I've shared just now, which Nora has put in the chat. Nora has put the link. And then we also have the Copilot. So we are ready now to start our exercises, right? So first exercise in Unit 2 is define your idea and set the context. So how do we do this? We're going to do this in 3 steps. The first step is using a role-based prompt. What is a role-based prompt? A role-based prompt is when you're creating a prompt that creates a role, which basically gives a sort of personality to your AI. Okay, so you're going to endow basically your Copilot with a personality. And that is your first prompt, your role-based prompt. We're going to call it the role-based prompt. Once you have created this role-based prompt and you have sent it to Copilot, Copilot will then become this person that you have told it to become. And then the second prompt, which is where you're going to be defining your idea, is where you're going to tell it what you want it to do. Okay, so first you will say who it is, and then you will say what you want it to do. That's step 2. And the last one is just giving your idea to Copilot. So actually, it's basically 2 steps: creating your role-based prompt and then defining your idea. Okay. So let's go to create a role-based prompt. These are just some examples of role-based prompts that you can use. For example, this one is, especially this one, these 4 prompts are creating an experienced designer. So you're creating a designer who can create good experiences for you. So for example, in this first one, it says you're an extraordinary experiential designer and you possess a unique talent for crafting immersive experiences that ignite the senses and transport patrons into the realm of pure magic. Then you can add some more detail on top of that for your personality that you're creating, right? For this role that you're creating. Through masterful combinations of captivating soundscapes and mesmerizing visuals and carefully curated environmental conditions, you orchestrate extraordinary journeys that both delight and intrigue, right? You can give as much detail as you want to this role-based prompt as well. For example, your creative prowess knows no limits. You dream up audacious ideas that wake up the imagination while also meticulously tending to the smallest sensory details that seamlessly weave together a thematic tapestry. Okay, so you can add as much detail as you want to your role-based prompt as well. Okay, so let's take a look at how to do this. I'm going to do a little bit of a demo here. I'm going to bring my Copilot here. So this is Copilot for me on the left-hand side, and I'm going to bring in that learning page that we just opened up, and I'm going to put it on the right-hand side over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to that exercise that we mentioned, which is exercise 2, define your idea and set the context. And here we have a sample role-based prompt, right? So this is a different role-based prompt. And this is what you're going to be doing in Unit 2 as well. I'm just going to copy this role-based prompt, and I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to say, okay. Verify that you are human, and there you go. So now you're giving your role-based prompt to your Copilot, right? That's the first step. You're giving a description of how you want Copilot to help you in the future. You have not asked it to do anything yet. You've only told it how you want it to help you, okay? So it's going to say, can you tell me more about your vision? Are we talking about a themed environment, an interactive installation, a multi-sensory performance, or something else entirely? If there's a concept, mood, or story you have in mind, we can dive right into crafting experience, soundscapes, visuals, textures, or even elements of surprise to create unforgettable moments. Let's make this journey extraordinary, right? So it's telling you that, tell me what you want me to do now, right? That's where we come to the second part of this topic where we're going to define the idea. Okay, so this is another example of a role-based prompt that I have on screen, right? Which is more simple. It's more simple. It's the sort of in the language generally that you will write. For example, imagine you're a super talented designer who can create amazing experiences that feel like magic. This is something more like something that I would write, right? Like you and me would write, instead of writing all of that extra information. You can also start with just this prompt and then improve this prompt later as you go through creating experiences with this designer, for example. Okay. Okay. Define your idea. That's the next step, right? So now it's when you're going to tell Copilot what you want it to do. Okay. So for example, I have an idea that I want to work on for this project. I will provide some bullet points. Can you help me create a paragraph with travel marketing tone and with a travel marketing and embellish on details that will bring this idea to life? And it should capture the following points. And then you have your points. You want a new destination experience. You want a cozy, secluded restaurant located deep in the woods. This restaurant is high above ground, built into the branches of a tree. And it thematically, it's organic nature meets invitation only destination, mysterious and hidden. So over here, you can see we are using a lot of adjectives, places, and locations, right? So you can see adjectives here, places, and locations. So place, location. And we have a theme or aesthetic and adjective, right? So you can see we have this common list of common places, themes, or aesthetics, and locations available over here. And you can basically just use this to define your idea, right? So I will give you another 5 minutes, which you can use to basically define your idea. Okay, so what will you do in your Copilot? We already have the prompt, right? We have the prompt from the first page, which is from this page. Just copy this prompt into your Copilot. And the next thing is defining your idea with a common place, a theme or aesthetic, and a location. So you can pick one of these. Just dream up something right now. Be creative. What do you want to create? What kind of dream destination you want to create? What would be the place that you would be like, yes, I would really, really love to go there. And if I could get a ticket just tomorrow and I could get a couple of days off, I would want to be there, right? So just do that. And then you can basically put that into your Copilot. Where's my Copilot? Here. I can define my idea and I can put it in here. Okay, and that's it. And then it creates this response. Tucked away in the heart of an enchanting forest, this extraordinary new destination offers a dining experience unlike any other. Imagine ascending through a canopy of ancient trees to discover a secluded, cozy restaurant perched high above the ground, seamlessly nested within the branches, right? So it's giving me from the sample prompt. But what I wanted you all to do is to change the last part of this prompt. Okay, so the last part of this prompt says new destination experience, secluded restaurant, thematically mysterious and hidden. I want you to change this and be a little bit more creative and get some ideas from examples of locations here, right? So I'm just going to keep this on screen and I will give you 5 minutes. So I'll give you 5 minutes here, but I will also put this on screen beforehand, or I'll put it after. And I'm just going to put this back on screen so you can see what you can work with. Or I cannot do it simultaneously. So I'll give you 5 minutes and go to that Explore AI site, which Nora has posted in the chat, and try to create your own response from Copilot. All right. Okay. I hope you all got a chance to work on creating your prompt and defining your idea, a role-based prompt and defining your idea. And now for the last bit, we are going to be creating our hero image, right? So in this exercise, we're just going to copy the sample prompt from Microsoft Learn. It's a very simple prompt. I'm going to take you to it right now and paste the prompt into the chat, and Copilot will then convert all that you were talking about into a really cool image, just like the image we have on screen. Okay, so let's take a look at how to do this. I'm just going to open up Microsoft Learn again. This time I'm going to go to the next exercise, which is create the hero image. And in here, we have the sample prompt. Can you create an image that visualizes the exterior of this destination from a distance? Okay, so look at the detail I'm giving in this prompt, right? I want to visualize the exterior of this destination from a distance. That's going to give it more specific information about how we want this image to be created. So I'm going to bring back Copilot in this case, and I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger because I already have the prompt I needed. And I'm just going to paste this in here, and let's see what Copilot creates for us. All right, so you can see it looks a little bit different from the one that's on the slide, which is basically using the same prompt, which is the restaurant. You can see it's in the forest, but we have a different image created here because our prompt is a little bit different. We created a different prompt from our original prompt, right? So the response is always going to be different for different people. And so we get this image instead of this image from the prompt, right? And with that, I'll give you a couple of more minutes for you to test this out, see if you can get an image of the destination that you are dreaming up with Copilot, and then we will end the session. Okay, so I'll give you a couple of more minutes. All right. I hope all of you have been able to get a couple of images, make some tweaks, make some changes, get some nicer images. I have a message in the chat saying that it looks like a haunted house for somebody. Maybe you can add some more light or something like that, or say that I want to look at this image during the daytime and not the nighttime. We could do something like that. Okay. So with this, we are done with this topic. Let me just go to the next step, which is knowledge check. So if you want to put your answers in the chat, this would be a nice time. So let's look at the first question. What is the significance of providing specific details when asking Copilot to suggest a name for the destination? So you can just put your responses A, B, or C for 1, 2, and 3 in the chat, for example. And also we have Nora who put in the link for the registration. So in case you did not register yet for this event, please do that before we come to the end of this event, where we will be sending you another link to confirm your attendance to this event. Okay, so we really need that confirmation at the end. But that confirmation at the end will not work if you haven't registered for the event in the first place. Okay, so please feel free to click on that ak.ms AI Skills Fest link that Nora has put in the chat. And now let's take a look at the answers for this knowledge check. What is the significance of providing specific details when asking Copilot to suggest a name for the destination? Is it to ensure that the name is long and complex? Probably not. To make sure the name includes a pun or a cultural reference? Probably not as well. To generate a name that accurately captures the essence and the feel of the destination? And that is definitely the correct answer for the first question. To generate a name that accurately captures the essence and the feel of the destination. What is the main benefit of using the multimodal capabilities in Copilot? What is the meaning of multimodal capabilities? It's not only working with text information, it can also work with images like we've already seen. It allows Copilot to understand images shared in the chat. It allows Copilot to search the web for web-related content based on chat history. It allows Copilot to perform actions and tasks within the chat without leaving the browser. The correct answer in this case is the first answer. It allows Copilot to understand the images shared in the chat. So if you want to share images as well, like references, for example, that you've worked on in the past, you can also add that as an input to Copilot. And last question, how do you refine image output using Copilot? Do you request Copilot to create an image without providing any context? That's probably not going to work. Use descriptive modifiers in the prompt and craft an image prompt with more details, or ask Copilot to generate a random image. It's going to be definitely the second option. Use descriptive modifiers in the prompt and craft an image prompt with more details. It's going to be the correct answer. Okay. All right. So that's the end for our knowledge check. And let's do a quick recap before we end our session. What have we learned? We've learned a couple of basics about generative AI basics. What is generative AI, how it works, how Copilot works in the background, for example, why it matters, why does generative AI help you, how does generative AI help you, for example, and how you can use technology creatively and responsibly as well. And what did you do today creating your dream destination? You used AI to brainstorm some ideas, to create some hero images and design your features of your destination. And why it matters that we did this, it shows you how AI can bring your creative ideas to life, right? Something that you just thought about, it was in your imagination, it was not there out in the world yet, and now you brought it out into the world using Copilot as your assistant to help you bring your idea from your imagination out in the world, right? And you can share that and you can improve on that and also like make it a reality. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and your AI journey can continue if you wish. Take a moment to think about what was your favorite part of joining this event and this course. What ideas did you brainstorm? What did you learn? And before you go, also please confirm your participation into this event by going to ak.ms training affirmation. You can also use this QR code from your phone, and you can basically get the link on your phone and confirm your attendance, right? So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you learned a lot, and I hope it was a fun activity to do, just brainstorming on how to create a pretty destination where you would like to go. And yeah, show off your achievement on LinkedIn. You can post your achievement with the hashtag AI Skills Fest. You can also tag Sarah and myself if you want, and also Nora, who is also moderating the chat right now. And yes, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.